What's going on, guys? Happy Friday. Victor Chambers here. Another day in the life of a notary loan signing agent and entrepreneur. I'm heading to my technically what's supposed to be my third appointment for today. I'm running a bit ahead of schedule. I had 4 signings scheduled for today. I had a 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, a 2 o'clock, and a 4 o'clock. My 11 o'clock, actually, I was on my way there. Actually, I got there, and the borrower called me and said, hey, the lender, I'm still going back and forth with the lender about the correct numbers for the mortgage amount and the closing costs. So I don't know if you actually have the latest set of docs that we've agreed to. And so I looked at the documents and went through kind of the numbers on the closing disclosure, and she said, no, those aren't correct. So what should we do? I said, well, I can reach out to title. You can reach out to the lender and your contact and see what's going on with the latest set of docs. I may have to go back and print a new set because apparently the loan amount is incorrect, which impacts a lot of different documents. The note, the mortgage, the CD, probably the Alta. It's going to impact a lot of documents, and it's probably only going to make sense to reprint the whole package. So in that case, I said, well, I'll reach out to my people, you reach out to your people and find out. And here it is, almost 1:30, and I still haven't heard anything back. So that one might actually get rescheduled. As a matter of fact, it probably will, or I'm going to tell them if they magically come up with the right docs later today, I'll probably tell them to reassign it, because after my 4 o'clock today, I don't want to go back out. So yeah, heading to what's technically my third appointment, and then I have a 4 o'clock after this one. So it's interesting because I've obviously had several days where I've done 4 signings, 5 signings, and it sometimes feels like I'm overbooking myself. Well, first thing about that is I never book appointments more within less than 2 hours of each other time-wise. I always, will give myself at least 2 hours in between appointments. So if I have an 11 o'clock, I won't book anything earlier than 1 o'clock, because you just never know. I pretty much have my signing times down to a place where I pretty much know how long it's going to take, especially if it's a package I've done before. So that gives me time to get the package done, or to get the signing done, and travel to the next appointment. The only way I would do appointments within, like, if I would do a 12 o'clock if I have an 11 o'clock, or 12:30 if I have an 11 o'clock, is if, like, they're in neighboring towns, which, at least where I live, that's, that's not always reasonable to expect that something like that will happen. So I usually space them out 2 hours apart at least. And on a day like today, it makes it easy to get in 4 appointments. What becomes challenging is if you have situations like I had today, and you commonly experience, where docs get revised or docs aren't available. And that's another reason why it's good to kind of build in that time, because things happen, and you want to not be in a position where you can't meet at least the obligations and the signings that are a sure thing. So but sometimes, I don't want to say it's good to overbook yourself, but sometimes there's a chance that things will get canceled or delayed, or something like that will happen, and you know, when you might start the day with 5 signings and end the day with 3 because 2 of them didn't pop off. So, you know, I wouldn't, you know, advise people to go crazy with booking yourself so tightly or so close together. Give your space some room to breathe, and give your space room for things to change. And obviously, for myself, I'm a real estate agent as well, and so in between signings, I'm often, you know, doing other appointments and things like that. So I have to, you know, be more cautious of, you know, what I'm doing. So I'm done for the day. It's about a little after 6. I had my 4 o'clock, my 2 o'clock, my 4 o'clock, and then I dropped off those 2 packages. In between my 2 and my 4, actually was able to stop and set some appointments for my client for tomorrow. So for some houses I'm going to show them. So that worked out. So what was supposed to be a 4 signing day turned into a 3 signing day. I just found out that my 11 o'clock from this morning, which it didn't get canceled, it actually got rescheduled to Monday. So I was kind of talking to that signer all day today, trying to, she was updating me, I'm updating her about what was going on. But she was, you know, very gracious and willing to kind of work around my schedule. We probably could have done it tonight, and she probably would have pushed the title company to finish updating the docs tonight, so that we could do it tonight. But I honestly didn't want to do it tonight, and I told her at this point, you know, it probably doesn't make sense to rush anything. And she was okay with doing it on Monday, so they're going to do everything for Monday, and we're going to sign on Monday afternoon. But it's challenging overbooking yourself, but you can actually book a pretty full day, but I wouldn't recommend newer notary loan signing agents do that until they pretty much can be confident in being able to do any signing in a certain amount of time. And that comes with obviously experience, familiarity with various, you know, different loan packages and the loan documents. And it really comes down to also being able to take control at your signings, because there's an element of control that we don't have at signings with regard to, you know, the pace of the signers, in the sense that, you know, you'll encounter readers and people that want to read through every line of the mortgage, for example. And then some signers they just sign slow. You know, and then, you know, there's chit chat and people want to talk and all that stuff. But an element of it is, to some degree, you taking control, and having control at the table, you dictating the pace, you having a rhythm and a flow in terms of, especially when you have 2 signers, in terms of how documents are being passed. And, you know, like today, I had 2 signers pretty much at all my signings. And, you know, I managed it in such a way that, you know, documents are being, none of the signers are ever like idle. They're always signing something. And I think Mr. Griff talked about one of his methods in a recent video. I'm not sure which one, but the signers are never idle. They're always signing something. So if I'm notarizing something, one person is signing something and the other person is signing another thing. But again, that can get very complicated and cumbersome if you haven't practiced it, right? And if you haven't like gotten enough experience to kind of know how to keep things flowing and keep the order of your package. That takes experience, but over time, as you build your rhythm and build your little system, you know, you'll be able to do that. But you know, it's really about, you know, having control and having control of your signing, and really being able to not rush, but get your signing duration down to something that you can largely predict. Especially if you're doing signing service work, you're probably going to encounter a lot of the same loan packages, because a lot of the bigger signing services tend to work with the same lenders and title companies, so you'll see a lot of the same. And even if you're doing direct and you're working for a title company, those packages will, I would imagine, will start to look the same. At least that's my experience with my limited, the limited direct work I've done. They'll start to look the same, and you can kind of get through things pretty quickly. So, but beyond that, like I said, I wouldn't recommend booking your signings within less than 2 hours of each other. Maybe you could do an hour and a half, but it all boils down to whether you have to do scan backs, whether there's a funding requirement, and scan backs have to be in by a certain time, and your travel and commute. And then you also have to strategize with regard to when you drop your docs, right? I don't like to hold on to docs any longer than I have to. So if I have a block of time between signings, I'll get rid of a package. Sometimes even I'll go out of the way to do it, because I just don't want to hold on to documents any longer than I should. And also, you'll occasionally run into signers that really want to know when you drop their package off, and I've had signers text me and ask me for the receipt, or ask me when did I drop the package. So you just want to you want to strategize around all of that stuff. But like I said, I'm done for the day. I do have a loan mod signing tomorrow that was actually supposed to be Wednesday, and they moved it to Saturday because the husband didn't tell his wife about it. And so, I'm doing that tomorrow. And then I have showings with clients, showing Saturday, showing Sunday. But that's really gonna wrap my week. So hope you guys had an amazing week. I know this probably wasn't too eventful or exciting or earth shaking, whatever. But hope you guys got something out of this. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload brand new videos. And I'll see you guys next week in the next video. Peace.